need to belabor this point. I request the Senator for Kakamega and Whip of the Senate, Senator Dr. Boni Halwale, to second.
Thank you. Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, sir, I rise to strongly support this motion, but I wish to seek. Sorry, Mr. Speaker, let me swallow my words. I rise to strongly second this motion. And Mr. Speaker, before I give reasons why I'm seconding, I'm seeking for your protection. Mr. Speaker, I have been thrown out of my position where I normally sit. Mr. Speaker, you can see my kid sister, Maja, she likes me very much. She's seated on my seat. I don't know where I'm supposed to sit. I am the chief whip of the government. My seat is supposed to be there. What are you doing? Can you please protect me? I want my seat back. When I'm not there, I don't think very well, Mr. Speaker.
And I second the motion. I will protect you.
So, Mr. Speaker, looking at the composition of the distinguished senators who have found their way.
Get this point of order from Senator Okongo Mugeni.
You know, Mr. Speaker, this is the Senate of the Republic of Kenya. And you cannot shut your eyes to what is happening this afternoon. Mr. Speaker, as I contribute, the person who is supposed to be minority has moved to the other side, majority side. My minority leader, his deputy is already on the other side. Mr. Speaker, you know, we are all leaders in this country. We are all leaders in this country. And we cannot proceed with the business of the House with confusion, Mr. Speaker. We are a country, Mr. Speaker, we are a country that is governed by the rule of law. States that have fallen, Mr. Speaker, have started by ignoring court orders or the rule of law. Mr. Speaker, before we proceed, we need clarification. I need clarification, Mr. Speaker, on the implication of the High Court judgment that has clarified the composition of leadership in the two houses, Mr. Speaker, so that before we debate the motion that has been moved by my friend, majority leader.
I've earned you.
No.
I've earned you a clarification what you want. So can I give you the clarification?
The point I'm making, Mr. Speaker, is that the implication of that judgment, impacts on the position of majority and minority in this House, Mr. Speaker. And we are going to send a statement out there whether we are a country that wants to abide by the rule of law, respect court orders, or we want to slow
So which
degenerate.
court order are you referring to, touching on the Senate?
It's common knowledge.
We are not aware.
I can tell
The
you.
chair is not aware of any court order
Mr.
concerning the
Speaker,
Senate.
are you the only stranger in Jerusalem, Mr.
Can
Speaker?
you have your seat now?
This is common knowledge, Mr. Speaker.
Can you have your seat, Senator Mugeni?
The court order is known to everybody. That's why, Mr. Speaker, that's why this afternoon, Mr. Speaker, you can see
Can you have your seat now?
the minority have become the majority, Mr. Speaker. The person sitting next to me here, Mr. Speaker.
When I request the senator to...
Mr. Speaker, I can table that decision before the House. I can table the decision before the House, Mr. Speaker. No, it's online. I just need to send it. I have it. I have the decision here. I'm digital, Mr. Speaker. I can table the decision.
So, Senator Mugeni, I think you are... Let us not waste precious time. This is our first day here, and we didn't need to do some work. Let me give you guidance on what you requested. Senator Mugeni, I want to give you guidance that there is no court ruling or anything touching on the Senate. Absolutely touching on the Senate, nothing. You are senior legal counsel, and I don't know where this ruling came from. Yeah? So, Senator Boni Karwale, proceed and
Yes, Mr. Speaker, allow me to thank you. Allow me to thank you for that guidance. This House has gained a lot of respect in the country. And therefore, the guidance you're giving, Mr. Speaker, I invite you to be even bolder and ask our colleagues who have migrated to the majority side to go back and take their seats. Because the proper position, Mr. Speaker,
Senator Boni Karware, if you go even to the standing orders, if you consult the standing orders, senators have free sitting. You can sit here anywhere. There's free sitting.
Thank you, Speaker.
The
Mr. Speaker, indeed.
Is on my chair, and I'm not bothered. You can spend even the whole month. I have no problem. I can sit any side.
Mr. Speaker, indeed you are right. As
So
I have said,
proceed and second this motion.
yes, I'm seconding Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, be patient with me. We came here to guide the country when, leader of the majority, we came here to guide the country when opinion divides the country. So just allow me in 2 minutes to make my point, and then I conclude my seconding. And the point is, since you have correctly interpreted what took place in court, that there were no orders against the composition of the leadership of the Senate, and given that there are designated seats in this House, like the Speaker's chair where you are seated, it is a seat in this House. Just because the standing orders say a senator can sit anywhere, doesn't invite senators to go and sit where the Speaker is seated. So because these seats are designated, let members sit wherever they want. But we as leadership, we sit where we are supposed to sit. We cannot be in a country run by social media, Mr. Speaker. I am very serious. If the courts, let me confirm, if the courts had ruled that the majority in the Senate has become the minority, I would have been the first to move to respect the courts. But because there is no such a matter, let us clear the confusion. Mr. Speaker, I second the motion that the composition be as stated. Thank you very much. Pardon?
I propose Senator Murango. Senator Murango, can you have your seat? Honorable Senators, I propose the question that pursuant to standing orders 190 and 199.3, the Senate approves the following senators nominated to serve in the Senate Business Committee for the 4th session. In addition to the Speaker of the Senate, who pursuant to standing order 191A shall be the chairperson of the committee, the Senate Majority Leader, the Senate Minority Leader, the Senate Majority Whip, and the Senate Minority Whip. 1. Senator Ali Ibrahim Roba, NGH MP. Senator Fatuma Adanduro, CBS MP. Senator Veronica Maina, MP. Senator Wakili Ida Lekiproti Sigei, CBS MP. Senator Mohamed Mwinihaji Faki, CBS MP. Senator Shakil Abdallah Mohamed, MP. And Senator Kristo Kegei Asige, MP. Mungatana Danson, Buya.
Mr. Speaker, Mr. Speaker, can I be protected?
We are in the majority.
Mr. Speaker, may I be protected, Mr. Speaker? Mr. Speaker, may I be protected? Thank you. Mr. Speaker, I rise to support this motion very strongly. Mr. Speaker, the list that has been tabled before this House in this motion is made up of very distinguished senators who have served this House with distinction, people who we know from our committees. They are worker bees, people who are able to put in the hours, and we really want to take this opportunity to thank the majority and minority sides for coming up with this list. Mr. Speaker, number 2, the list is diversified. I can see that almost all the regions in this country are represented, and Mr. Speaker, that is a very good sign. So, Mr. Speaker, I want to say that I support this list, but Mr. Speaker, as the Senate Business Committee takes its seat today afternoon, we want to remind them that we had a midterm retreat in Naivasha. And one of the things that we raised was the prioritization of legislation from this Senate House, Mr. Speaker. We do not want this SBC to behave like the SBC of the previous session, where, Mr. Speaker, they kept on prioritizing business from the National Assembly at the expense of the Senate business, particularly legislation. So, Mr. Speaker, we are asking the new team that is going there, please go and make sure that our members here, they push their bills so that we finish. Because we are now midterm, and there are members here, Mr. Speaker, who have not been able to push a single bill to its conclusion. Mr. Speaker, we want to urge the new team to continue with the spirit of working hard, but also to prioritize what is ours. With those few remarks, Mr. Speaker, I beg to support. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Senator Mudam Agnes Kavidu.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker, for giving me this opportunity. I fully support the names that has been given to work in the Senate Business Committee, and I know they will do good work. I encourage them, like Mungatana has said, to prioritize the Senate bills first, because when our bills go to the National Assembly, they are delayed there so much. And so we should also prioritize our bills here before we deal with the National Assembly's bills. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
I'm sure you are aware that we are using the supplementary order paper which was issued. So if you want to confirm anything, you go to the supplementary order paper. Senator Mazayo.
Asante mstahiki Spika. Mstahiki Spika, cha kwanza nataka kubaliane na majina yaliyoko hapa ya maseneta ambao wataketi katika ile kamati inayoongoza bunge katika itifaki zake. Bwana Spika, waliochaguliwa hapa ni maseneta ambao wako na ukakamavu wa mambo ya bunge la Senate. Bwana Spika, vile vile tunayo imani ya kwamba hawa waliochaguliwa wataweza kutimiza ile hadhi ambao wamepewa na ndugu zao maseneta. Kitu cha pili, Bwana Spika, nikiendelea kuunga mkono haya majina yaliyoko hapa yote 7, nataka pia kuweza kutangazia ndugu zangu ya kwamba hivi leo ni jambo la kusikitisha, naweza kusimama na nikatangaza kifo kilichotokea cha baba ya seneta wetu, ya spika wetu wa bunge la Senate, ndugu yetu Amazon Jeffa Kingi. Kifo hicho kilitendeka jana wakati wa madaktari wakiendelea kumtibu au kujaribu kuendelea kumpatia matibabu mzee wetu, lakini japokuwa sisi tulimpenda, Mwenyezi Mungu alimpenda zaidi. Kwa hiyo nataka tu kuwajulisha ndugu zangu, tumeweza kuweka katika mitandao, mimi nilikuwa kwanza kuweza kuwajulisha maseneta kuambia kifo cha mzee kimetokea, na hayo yote yaliyotendeka ni mambo ya Mwenyezi Mungu. Kwa hiyo tutaendelea kushikana na familia ya Spika na ndugu zangu nyote, kama itakuwa kifo kama hichi si kifo cha kawaida, ni kifo kimetokea cha Spika wetu ambaye ninajua sote sisi tuko hapa, cha babake Spika wetu, ambapo ninajua na imani ya kwamba sote tutajumuika naye. Mimi pengine naweza kutangulia nyumbani, lakini watakaobaki nyuma mtaendelea kuweza kuweka nguvu za Senate hapo mbele. Bwana Spika, mwisho ingekuwa bora zaidi ikiwa utafafanua kwamba katika hii ratiba ambayo tunatuona sasa sisi tunasema tu katika broad based, lakini tukijua kwamba koti iliweza kutoa uamuzi, na uamuzi huo nataka ufafanuzi wa hali ya juu kama alivyosema ndugu yangu Okongo Megedi. Ikiwa unaweza kufafanua zaidi hapo, ili tujue ya kwamba upande ule na upande huu sasa walio wengi ni kina nani ndani ya bunge. Asante sana Bwana Spika.
Senator Roba Magoma.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I rise to support the proposed names to the Senate Business Committee, Mr. Speaker. And my plight to them would be, as Senator Mungatana has requested, that our bills from the Senate are prioritized, and particularly the bills that are a priority to the lives of the people of Kenya, Mr. Speaker. I am pushing for the free sanitary towels bill, Mr. Speaker, and I believe after 2 years of it being in the motion, in the process of Parliament, Mr. Speaker, I hope that this bill would be considered by the Senate Business Committee. Mr. Speaker, I also want to add that in the event that no one is interested in taking up this position of the minority whip, Mr. Speaker, I am able and I am willing, and I am already sitting here on this chair, Mr. Speaker, so I can assist them. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Senator David Wakoli Wafula.
Nashukuru sana kwa nafasi hii. Nashukuru vile vile Mheshimiwa Spika kuona ndugu zangu ambao wamekuwa kiukwea mlima sasa wameteremka wako katika jumba la Senate, Mheshimiwa Spika. Na Waswahili husema